Hey everyone, welcome back to my Diablo 3 Adventure Mode Guide for New Players thingy. I'm Honest Steven. In the last episode, I covered the general idea behind rifts, greater rifts, legendary gems, and the Kanai's Cube, and ancient items. So, that in combination with Paragon levels, bounties, key wardens, and Hellfire items, you are pretty well informed of the general concept behind Adventure Mode and its overall vibe and progression. I think I'll start this episode off with running a quick rift to show you how that plays out. Expose you to the concept of upgrading the legendary gems like I explained. And then I think I will do a brief breakdown of character builds and what you should be working on to get the best benefit out of all of this. Before that, though, I'll explain Kadala. Kadala's only available in Venture Mode also. She... As you play, you'll earn something, as you can see down next to my gold, called blood shards. Blood shards are purely for Kadala.
Shall we?
You can give her 75, 25, 100, you know, whatever. You can give her stuff to get a random item. That's what it is. It can be something really worthless like this, or it can be
steal.
Let's see if I can get something.
It's a good paperweight.
Yeah, it's even more worthless.
What? That is too
Okay, well,
expensive.
you can get set items and unique items that way too. Hold on a second. So, every few runs where you end up having an exponential amount of blood shards, you can spend them on free stuff. It's essentially free stuff, you know what I mean? And it's another good way to get gear that you can't find. And one of the nice combinations of things is you can use blood shards on her to get something in a category, like say you want a weapon, and say you don't get it, well then you can take some of the yellow items, upgrade it here, and potentially get it. So there's a lot of synergy between these. Pretty nice. So that's it. That's Kadala. I mean, she can make literally anything. Just need blood shards. And now, regarding blood shards specifically, you start with, I think, a cap of around 500. And every greater rift you complete on your own will raise that cap by 10, I think. That's why I have 1020 as my cap. So, kind of, there's another bonus to the rifts, but I don't really think about it at all, because you fill up on blood shards, you go blow them on Kadala, and you go pick up the rest of blood shards. It's not a big deal. I'm going to skip the Nephilim Rift because they work identically. The only difference is I have time limit, and that's how I get the bonuses. So we'll empower this. As you can see, it's 12,200,000 gold. This does not, as far as I've been able to tell, this does not affect the difficulty of the run at all. It just, you're paying for a guaranteed increase of upgrade chances. Oh, one of the other restrictions of a greater rift in comparison to a normal rift is once you start the rift, you are in it. You can't suddenly say, oh, I want to change the difficulty, or oh, I want to try something else, without quitting the game and creating a new lobby. The other thing is, you cannot change your items, your skills, nothing. Once you trigger a greater rift, that is it. You have to do it with what you have. I don't really know why that restriction is there. Seems to be just a limitation for the sake of making greater rifts feel special. Because I've never had an instance where it's like, ah, crap, I wanted to try to game the system or something.
This world can
but yeah, so once you're in a greater rift, like, you can't, pressing the X button, see, you can't access any of your skills. You can't change your follower skills or get, like, you can't do anything. You just have to sit and look at it. So this is going to go by fast, and I'll try to explain it as well as I can. As you can see on the left side of the screen, there is the meter I mentioned. There are two parts to the meter. There is the skull icon on top, which is your overall progression, and then there's the hourglass icon on the bottom, that is the time progression. You will know that you are doing well as long as the skull stays in front of the hourglass. If the hourglass gets ahead of the skull, you're not moving fast enough, you're probably not going to finish the rift in time. Now, every kill of an enemy you perform fills that meter up with the skull. Every second that passes fills it up with the hourglass. So you just run as fast as you can and you kill things as aggressively as you can. Every once in a while you'll run into strong enemies, unique enemies, yellows, legendaries, and stuff like that. The way the game... Man. Sorry, I'm having a lot of chest issues in my throat. But yeah, so the way the game compensates for you fighting tough bosses, essentially, is when you kill an elite, a rare, they'll drop these little purple orbs. And each purple orb increases your meter by a big chunk, instead of just one or whatever. When I see one drop again, I will point it out. A few have dropped already, but I was moving so fast, and I wasn't at that point that I didn't get the indicator for you guys.
Give it more time.
But yeah, they'll drop a handful of them, and it's supposed to make up for the time that you took to kill a harder enemy, but it's, when you're geared for what you're doing, it's, alright, here comes one. When you're geared for what you're doing, it's really just a bonus. It's like, alright, great, kill him, you get a bunch of extra meter. So there's that guy. So there's the purple orbs, little angry skulls. As you can see, pick them up, bloop, 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 they fill up the meter. So always, always, always pick up the orbs. Don't leave them.
My insight grows.
The orbs exist in a normal rift also, but they're a different color, I think, just to indicate, hey, you're in a normal rift. They do the same thing though. They fill the orb up. This is another thing. This big shrine is called, they're called pylons. Big shrines, pylons, have a much, much more powerful ability tied to them. This is a bad example. The conduit pylon makes me shoot electricity, so it's not a great way of showing you the difference. But the conduit pylon is really good for killing people, because it just destroys things that you walk up into.
I'm afraid not.
So it's pretty fun. I'm gonna go back for those orbs. I just wanted to make sure I got the most out of my conduit. But yeah, most of them are like, all of your cooldowns are... you never have cooldowns, and you never run out of resources, and you run real fast, and you hit real hard. And basically, they just help you get through the rift easier, and they're way more powerful than anything you've seen from a normal shrine, which makes greater rifts stand out as kind of unique again.
The grave beckons. I need you. That needs to recharge.
Greater rifts are generally more difficult than normal rifts also. If you were to do a normal rift on Torment 10,
the Rift Guardian is
greater
here.
on Torment 10, I feel like, generally speaking, it's more difficult.
That needs to recharge.
Never. You have triumphed.
Okay, so that's Urshi. So here's a great look at all those set items and legendaries that I just found, and all these gems and resources. This is such a good way to
That
get
is
things,
not
and this is
possible.
why most people do this. But yeah, so if you did it in time, Urshi appears and she's like,
My
hey,
name is Urshi, and
this
like
is what I
always,
was.
when the
And
champions of ages
I make their
past
gems
prove
better.
you have a
And
gem
if you
of
have a gem, I can
sufficient
do that.
quality. Hello.
So she looks at every gem you've had, and she's like, go ahead, tell me what you want. So as you can see, chances left, on the right, 3 plus 2. One of the chances is from no death, one of them is from me empowering it. So these are the 3 gems I use. I don't like wasting an upgrade unless there's an 80% chance or more for an upgrade. So I'm gonna just upgrade. I'm just gonna upgrade. We'll upgrade this. So 23% non-physical damage reduction, right? And then it's 23.5, 24, 24.5. See what I mean? So that's why you upgrade the legendary gems. And once you've spent all your upgrades, Urshi goes away, and you go back to town. Turn in the ribs.
Well,
I
You
understand
get
so
golden
much
experience.
more now.
1,287,426,432. And then you rinse and repeat. But like I said, to access a greater rift, you need keystones. As it says, I have 1 keystone available. The way you get keystones is by completing normal rifts. So you do a few normal rifts, get a few keystones, you do a few greater rifts, you get a few legendary gems and upgrades, you do a few normal rifts, back and forth. It's kind of redundant, but it's a way for the game to not become completely static. It's like, eventually you're going to run out of materials, so let's go do bounties. And while I'm doing bounties, I may as well farm key wardens. And then since I have the keys, I may as well go kill Uber bosses. And since I did that, I may as well... And hey, I'm really grinding out on these great enough limb rifts, but I need stones, so let's do a normal. It keeps you moving around. It's not anything awe-inspiring, but that's the idea. It's just to keep it flowing around. So, again, that's the general idea. You run these rifts, you gain higher levels. What I ran was a level 45, which I think is Torment 10. You just keep going higher and higher and higher and higher. The highest I've accessed is level 53. I have yet to successfully complete it because it's tough. And again, we'll run over here and identify all the stuff in our bag, see if we got any upgrades or anything worth keeping. I think those are new. Yeah, because I got a new transmog. Alright, so let's see. Pestilence 211, 213, and then Trigouls. Okay, there's our scrap. That's what I have, but it's not as good. Not as good. Rathmas 212. Yeah, I'll swap those out. Leoric's Crown. Nope. There we go. I don't think I have Stewart's Greaves at all, so they'll go in here. But yeah, as you can see over here, see how these have the frame and these don't? It's because that's an ancient item. Very easy to tell. Hold on. I don't think that's better than my Scythe of the Cycle. That's what I use for my other build. Well, I mean, it's technically... Oh, no. It's worse. Okay. Just in case somehow you got to this point you don't understand the blacksmith, he can craft items for you in armor, but also he can break down any items you have into crafting materials, and he can fix your stuff. That's what I use him for. Because at this point, money's not an issue. I normally have over 200 billion, but I mean 200 million, but I haven't been really as proactive, so I'm a little low, but that's not even that low. So instead of selling the stuff, I just salvage it. And I got a few Paragon points. We'll go ahead and spend them. I explained Paragon points in the other video. You can check that out if you missed it.
My stomach feels strange.
Did you forget to eat again?
No. In fact, I decided to get the day's eating out of the way all at once. I kept at it until I couldn't take another bite.
Oh, it sounds like you ate too much then.
Being a mortal is very complicated.
I like the little banter between Tyrael and his little friend. But yeah, so that's adventure mode. Not super crazy, but this is where you will be spending most of your time as an endgame player in Diablo 3. You just continue to find items, and say you find something that you didn't see before, and you're like, oh, I really like the idea behind that ability, and you go ahead and you tweak your skills and your gems and your style, and you keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. It's kind of mindless to an extent, but a lot of the entertainment comes from learning the numbers and figuring this out and comparing yourself to another player. Like right now, my Necromancer is my main person just because it's the most recent, came with the update DLC. But my friend is also running a Necromancer pretty heavily, and it's just fun to say, well, how far have you gotten? Ah, well, I've got this far. Oh, wow, man, I didn't even think to try using that ability with that gem. That's a great idea. And it's also fun to run with a group of 4 people because you just see how hectic things get. So, I think I'll finish out this episode and this series with just kind of giving you a breakdown of what to look for, you know, in how you build a character. So when I was leveling up this character, I realized that I liked being in melee range. I liked getting up close and personal, and not standing far back. And originally, I just had a bunch of curses. I didn't have minions. I had a cooldown, stuff like that. And my main ability is this Nova. So as I leveled up, I was thinking about, well, what complements my Nova? So I'm going to be up close and personal, and my Nova needs essence, and you get essence from corpses. So I went with Devour. I'm not going to worry about doing damage with other stuff, like Corpse Explosion or Bone Lance or whatever it's called. So why waste that slot on something else? So I got Devour, and I went with Devour's rune that allows it to become an aura. So whenever I just walk near corpses, I absorb them and I get the essence back. It makes me not have to think about it. So those two things were synergized really well. And of course, Frailty is a great curse, but I don't want to have to think about applying it. So I went with Frailty's aura, and now whenever I'm near anything, they just have the Frailty aura on them, which causes them to die when they're below 15% health. It's a substantial chunk, especially against bosses. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be in the heat of things and in the pack, so I need something to help my survivability, which Bone Armor is the best thing for that. And stunning enemies counts as crowd control, and it triggers some of my abilities, and it also just protects me. So I pop Bone Armor to keep myself strong, and then I do my Nova and everything else. And when I found this set, the Jessith set, it buffs my command skeletons. When a target of my command skeletons dies, they automatically run to another enemy, and it increases all minion damage by 400%. So I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good. I think I'll work skeletons into my build. So I did that. They replaced my generator. I had just a random ability that would back me up in case I needed resources in a pinch, but I really rarely used it because my build was very optimized to not needing it. So I replaced them, and now I can just kind of have them bum rush dudes. And it's like, that's great, but I could get more damage. And I was looking at some of the options here, which was going to be, excuse me, since my skeletons replaced my primary, I was like, well, I don't need any of the other categories, so why not just have another passive damage dealer? And he can control enemies with his stun and everything like that, and so it works out. And like, that's basically what I did. I went from my one main, like, what's my main ability? My main ability is Nova, Death Nova. That's what I want. And I just kept, this feels good there, this feels good there. I was going to use this first, but this feels better. And then same thing with these abilities down here. I want more essence, so I don't need to worry about my generator. And I want to be healed more, and I want to be protected on death because I'm right in the heat of it. And if I miss my rhythm on anything, I'm going to die. And this lowers the cooldown of my command skeletons and my command golem because those are my cooldowns. It's like I want my skeletons to rush things, and I want my golem to stun things. Otherwise, I'm popping bone armor to keep it up, and I'm popping Nova to kill things. It's all synergy. Same thing with my Kanai powers. My Verlena's hook, Shadow Hook, is just a damage increase. The more essence that I can carry, the more damage I have. Well, since I'm an essence heavy build, that's great for me. Requiem Seraplate causes my Devourer to essentially give me double resources. And if I'm full of health or essence, it gives me like a heal over time. Great for my build. And Crisven Sentence, I deal double damage against any enemy that's slowed, and triple if they're controlled by anything else. Stun, freeze, fear, those are other crowd control impairing effects, and they make my Crisven's thing do produce a buttload of damage. And what's really nice is my Bane of the Trap gem gives me an aura that just natively reduces enemy movement by 30%. So just being near someone, even if I don't do anything, because of my Bane of the Trapped, it triggers my Crisben Sentence. So it's just a guaranteed buff. And again, that goes back to synergizing my abilities. Thinking about what can coexist with what and bring out the best of it. And again, because this gem has the aura to slow things down, it just auto-triggers its other ability, which is an increased damage against enemies under the effects of control impairing effects. So it's really good. And again, like I said, you just got to think. I have a bunch of skeletons and minions, so there you go, minion based, and I am a direct attacker, and it's like, so that's an attack boss, one of the things I attack, and I'm running rifts a lot, so this is bosses and rift guardians, and like I went with Anarius' set because it's a bone armor set, it increases bone armor damage and makes it better reductions, so like you either say, I really like this item, I'm going to build my character around the item, or you go, I really like this ability, I'm going to build my skills around, my items around this ability. You know, it's the easiest way to generate a consistent, coherent, cohesive character, and it's where the fun lies. I mean, that's just where it comes from. It's like, I couldn't believe how much my power changed when I dropped my my resource generator for skeletons. And it's like, I never would have thought it. I was like, I don't want skeletons. I'm fighting myself. Well, you tweak it and you play it out, and that's the, like I said repeatedly, that's the entertainment. And the only thing I can really tell you as like a bit of guidance for that is, you know, follow your heart, as silly as it sounds, on what feels good. I've done some research on what the best, like, top tier, high end, like, universally accepted builds. I'm not running one. Mine is kind of influenced a little bit in the sense that it's like I'm using an R-Aces set and it's a good set, but my build is completely unique, and at least to my knowledge, and I'm still doing great and I'm having fun doing it. So just keep in mind that even if you aren't doing what is the normal, it doesn't mean it won't work. At the end of the day, why would you spend time grinding away for hours trying to make your character better and get deeper and deeper into the rifts if you're not having fun doing it? Do whatever feels good. I love this stupid Nova, man. It's fun. So that's what I went with. And, you know, the nice thing about Paragon is none of it's wrong. None of this will hurt you. If you spend all your points in Vitality and all your points in attack speed, it's going to benefit your character somehow. So don't worry about where the points are going here, especially because you also can reset it on a whim. I mean, like, literally. There you go. And I want to put that back in there, and I want to put this back in here.
I cannot
There you
afford
go.
that.
See? The one thing you might want to keep in mind is your character will never ever have more than a 25% movement increase from items and skills. It's a cap. So even if you have like 80% somehow from your item stuff, you're not going to gain any more than 25%. So if you have an item that gives you movement speed, Like, okay, like my Lacuni Prowlers, they give me 12% movement speed. You go to Paragon, and you spend enough points on Paragon to max that out to 25. So if I lost my Lacuni Prowlers, I'd bump up my movement speed to the max to get to 25%, so I'm moving as fast as I can, so I'm having as little downtime as possible, and I can worry about the other stats on my gear. But if I get a good piece of gear that just has movement speed on it, I can knock that movement speed down in Paragon and put it somewhere else, you know? Movement speed is the only thing I think you really should prioritize because it lets you balance out your set. But other than that, it's whatever feels good to you. So that's really it. That's everything I can think to cover in adventure mode. You know, let me know in the comments if I missed something. You know, tell me. I can't think of every possible question that would be asked, you know, because I've been doing this game for so long now that it's almost second nature to me. I don't even think about it a lot. So I can't put myself in the shoes of a fresh player entirely and go, oh, well, what if and how about, you know? So leave me any questions you have in the comments. I could even do a follow-up video to this and answer any subsequent questions there. But if not, you know, I'll just drop something in the comments and reply in that way. Like the video if you enjoyed what you saw, if you learned anything. Share it, please. Let your friends know. If you have any friends that you want to get into Diablo, let them see this. Let them experience what it is at the end game. Because early on, Diablo is kind of boring. But it's fun towards the end. Subscribe to my channel, please. You know, if you want to keep up to date on these videos, I cover first impressions of news. I do reviews for games. I just do Let's Plays in general. I'm starting this idea of doing guides for games that I'm very knowledgeable on. You know, I'm trying to mix it up a bit, and I need your help to get myself out there. So I appreciate anything you can do. Follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter. That's how I update my viewers and my subscribers with what's going on in my day-to-day. I'm eventually going to start doing contests, too, once I get enough subscribers and followers on my feeds. So keep your eyes open for that. But for now, I'm going to continue doing my best to bring you one of the most honest opinions you can find online. And I will talk to you guys later on. See ya!